skylarks and swallows. How are you? We're here today for another story. Now if we look at the front cover of this story, we can see the story is all about a cat. But what does this cat look like? How do you think he's feeling? Yes, he doesn't look very happy, does he? This cat is called Mr. Pusskins, and that's the title of the story, Mr. Pusskins. And the story is written by Sam Lloyd. I wonder what this story could be about. I wonder what's making Mr. Pusskins look so unhappy. Shall we find out? Okay. This is the story of a little girl called Emily and her dear cat, Mr. Pusskins. Emily adored Mr. Pusskins. Each morning, she would invent fun games for Mr. Pusskins to play. In the afternoons, she'd brush his long fur coat and tell him, "Oh, Mr. Pusskins, what a handsome boy you are. I do love you ever so much." Now, I don't know if you can see, but Mr. Pusskins, he doesn't look like he's enjoying all of this. He looks a little bit annoyed, even though Emily's only trying to be kind. And each night Emily would snuggle up in bed and read Mr. Pusskins a special story. But Mr. Pusskins never listened. The girl's constant babbling, blah-de-blah-de-blah, bored his whiskers off. He wanted more than this dull life. So one night, he left. He went places he wasn't meant to go. He did things he wasn't meant to do, and even made friends with the pesky cat gang. Oh dear, do you think that sounds like good friends to make if they're pesky? No. Life without Emily was such naughty fun. And they're all making lots of noise. And all the people in their houses look like they're trying to go to sleep. It looks like it's night time and they're saying, "Shh." But they won't stop. But time passed and things changed. The rain fell and an icy wind blew. The things Mr. Pusskins wasn't supposed to do weren't fun anymore, and his new friends weren't really very nice. How lovely it would be to have someone to brush his fur and tell him how much they loved him. He felt all alone. Oh, who do you think would like to brush his fur and tell him how much they loved him? Then, down the grey streets fluttered a tatty old poster. It was a picture of Mr. Pusskins. And on the picture it says, "Lost, Mr. Pusskins." And then there's a phone number. I wonder who had written the lost poster. Maybe it was Emily. He stared at the photo. What a bad-tempered cat he looked. Emily had given him everything a cat could ever dream of, but he had never been nice to her. How sorry he felt. Oh look, he's realised. What a lovely life he had before he'd become friends with the pesky cat gang. He looks very sad now. Mr. Pusskins found a phone box. He dialed the number from the poster and waited anxiously. Someone answered. "Meow," whimpered Mr. Pusskins in a very sad little voice. Mr. Pusskins, is that you? Oh, thank goodness, said Emily. Wait there, I'll come and get you. Mr. Pusskins sat patiently. Would Emily find him? Did she still love him? He waited and waited, but Emily didn't come. Then, from over the mountains, he heard a car. Mr. Pusskins' heart leapt. It was Emily. His dear Emily was coming for him. Oh, how do you think Mr. Pusskins feeling now? I think he's very excited. The car got nearer and nearer and nearer, and then vroom! It sped straight past. Meow, wailed Mr. Pusskins. Emily doesn't love me anymore. But then the car screeched to a halt and Emily jumped out. Mr. Pusskins, my beautiful Mr. Pusskins, she cried. I didn't recognise you. Emily scooped up her dear cat. At last, they were together again. This is the end of the story of a little girl called Emily and her dear cat, Mr. Pusskins. Mr. Pusskins adores Emily. Every evening he cuddles her and purrs gently while she reads to him. And now both Emily and Mr. Pusskins realise how lucky they are to have each other. So we've got our happy ending. Mr. Pusskins realised how lucky he was to have such a good owner. So I wonder if you can think about who you love, or maybe who loves you. I bet you can think of lots of people. Okay, well, I hope that you enjoyed the story, and I'll see you soon. Bye.